Hey, all cinephile Mike, your friendly neighborhood cinephile is here, and this is episode 12 of Oscar Rewind, the 2024 edition, my bi weekly series of videos where I reflect on the films of this past year's Oscar nominees and winners. My hope is that you will rediscover an old favorite or maybe find something new that you never thought about before. As always, all my reviews are spoiler free. I'll be talking about the critical ratings, the award season run for the film, and some other fun tidbits. But again, everything is spoiler free, so you can enjoy these before or after the movie. Today, I'm discussing a cult classic, New Line Cinema's Hedwig and the Angry Inch. Written and directed by John Cameron Mitchell, based off the off Broadway play that he co wrote with Stephen Trask, this film was released on September 12th, 2001. And I bring up that specific date because it did have an impact on the film's box office, many feel. Now, as per Box Office Mojo, during the film's theatrical run, it made $3,067,312 domestically and $576,888 internationally, for a total of $3,644,200. Then in 2020, the film would be re released for a brief theatrical run, both domestically and in a few additional international markets, where it added an additional $15,881, bringing its worldwide total currently, as of this recording, to $3,660,081. Now, many more people did see this film, so those box office receipts could have been higher. However, based on the date, following 9/11, many New York City movie theaters were letting people into the movies for free, so many more people saw this film, but there was no box office taken for it. So many feel that that could have been an impact. But despite the box office numbers, the film, while it is a cult classic, also has very high ratings for one. It currently holds a 93% critical rating and a 92% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes. So, how does Hedwig and the Angry Inch end up on Rewind this season? Well, it's because of the producing team. Two of Hedwig's producers, Christine Vachon and Pamela Koffler, were nominated this year for Best Picture, being part of the producing team for A24's Past Lives. Now, that's not to say that Hedwig and the Angry Inch didn't have their own success in the indie circuit. After winning two awards for directing and the Audience Award at the Sundance Film Festival, the film was also a nominee for Sundance's Grand Jury Prize. Mitchell would go on to be the winner of the Outstanding Directorial Debut by the National Board of Review, as well as see the film be the Best Feature Film winner at the Berlin International Film Festival. Nominated for Best Foreign Independent Film in the English Language by the British Independent Film Awards, over on this side of the pond at the Independent Spirit Awards, the film received five nominations. One was for Vachon and Koffler and shared with their third producer, Katie Rommel, for Best Feature. Mitchell received three nominations for Best Director, Best First Screenplay, and Best Male Lead. And the fifth nomination was for Frank G. DeMarco for Best Cinematography. Also, Mitchell was nominated in his performance of Hedwig for Best Performance by an Actor in a Musical or Comedy at the Golden Globes. Hedwig and the Angry Inch opens with Hedwig and her band, the Angry Inch, playing a show at a buffet style seafood restaurant called Bilgewater's. Now, after the opening musical number, Hedwig begins to tell her story. And this is how the film is structured, in a series of flashbacks where we will see and learn how Hedwig became Hedwig, going back to her early days when she was born Hansel in East Berlin on the day that the Berlin Wall went up. As Hansel grew up, an out proud gay man in East Berlin in the 60s and 70s, he fell in love with an American sergeant, Luther Robinson, who proposed marriage. The only way to leave Berlin with him would be to have him be his wife. So Hansel's mother, named Hedwig, agrees to give Hansel her passport and arranges for Hansel to have a gender reassignment surgery so that he can become she, so that she can go off and marry Luther. However, the surgery gets botched, and Hedwig is now left with A small, dysfunctional, as she describes, 1 inch of flesh between her legs, which she names her Angry Inch, which will also become the name of her band. Leaving Berlin, Hedwig goes to America and lives with Luther as his wife in Kansas until Luther leaves her for another man. Now, these two tales, the one of the botched surgery and how Hedwig became Hedwig, and the one of her failed romance with Luther and coming to America, are merely two of the stories we learn of Hedwig's backstory, as Hedwig is now on tour with her band, made up entirely of a collection of Eastern Europeans, and her husband Yitzhak, as they travel America, playing the whole of Bilgewater's chain of restaurants and some barely attended music festivals where they are on the ninth stage, not one you commonly hear about. Why is this the path that the band is taking? Well, through other series of flashbacks, we will see Hedwig and his meeting, romance, and fallout with Tommy Speck, a once shy teenager who Hedwig nurtured and ultimately is now suing Tommy for copyright as Tommy stole all of Hedwig's songs. There are also a few more plot elements, which we will see as Hedwig's life goes up and down as we follow this journey, bringing it up to the present day of the film. So, Hedwig is an interesting film. It's a rock musical with some very empowering and telling songs. The flashback sequences are structured nicely by Mitchell to keep us wondering what the next story is going to be. And by the third act, when we catch up to the present day of the characters, we'll show the aftermath of some of these things that have happened over the years. Mitchell moves the story along and captures the moments with both subtle and intensity as you follow her journey, my apologies. Now, given that Mitchell wrote and performed the role during the original off Broadway run, he very smoothly brings his character to life. Every sung moment of pain and angst rings true. And right there with him is also a stellar performance by Miriam Shore as Hedwig's husband, Yitzhak, a role she also originated in the original production. Where the show, because there was a Broadway revival which I was able to see, only focuses and shows the scenes, tells the scenes of what happened with the whole show just being Hedwig, Yitzhak, and the band. Here we get to visually see everything that happened in the flashbacks with all the different characters. And some of those supporting the band on their journey that we meet in the film is their manager, Phyllis, played with the usual high, wonderful energy of Andrea Martin, den mother to this ragtag group of musicians, helping them to book gigs with no money. And also in the plot line surrounding Hedwig's history with Tommy, Michael Pitt plays a sympathetic and confused teen turned rocker turned, well, I won't go into it, but he does turn in a very unique performance as Hedwig's ex. Now, the smart thing with the film is that while it tells the story of this young gay man coming to terms with his life, it's also a universal story of acceptance, both by oneself and by others, and will have you thinking long after the last musical number is played. The ending sequence is haunting in its almost dreamlike state, where we see Hedwig make certain realizations. So, in all, Hedwig is a 4-star film for me. Now, if you would like to see this film, or it's been a while and you want to check this one out again, if you do not own a copy, you are going to have to shell out a little bit of money. As of this recording, there is no streaming information for Hedwig on any platform, but you can rent it for as low as $4 or less on most digital rental platforms. So, there you have it. I hope everyone is enjoying Oscar Rewind. Is there a film you're hoping that I'm going to get to? Let me know in those comments. You want to come and review it with me? Let me know. I would love to bring some of you followers on to chat movies with me. If you like what you heard here, please subscribe to the channel, spread the word, get more people to join the conversation. We're going to have lots of fun. You can follow me, Cinephile Mike, on all social media platforms, then on Letterboxd. Let's chat. Happy watching, everyone. And until next time, this is Cinephile Mike saying take a break and watch something new.